Let's all think back to a time when we were in elementary school, when we had long days filled with reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm sure we can all remember how nice it was to take a break with art or music classes. All across the United States, art programs are being cut from the schools. As an art student and an art education graduate student and a future teacher, I know from personal experiences how art classes can positively affect children. Art classes need to be a part of a child's educational curriculum, and there needs to be a way for these classes to be reinstated in our schools. In this speech, I will speak about why it is necessary in a child's development to engage classes of creativity such as art. I will also speak about the means necessary to obtain these goals of reestablishing these programs in our schools. I will first begin speaking about why our schools and our children need art education. Children who are still learning and developing are guided in our school systems to learn a comprehensive skill set that will eventually set them up for the real world. While more academic geared classes such as science and math teach them facts and statistics, art classes, especially the fine art classes, teach creativity, which can be directly applied to the future life experiences. For the past 10 years, budget cuts have been targeting art education programs, specifically fine arts, which has led to the extinction of art programs in both public and private institutions. In a year's study completed by the Boston Globe, they found that while students in our class learn different techniques specific to art, such as how to draw, how to mix paint, or how to center a pot, they're also taught a remarkable array of mental habits that are not emphasized elsewhere in our schools. One public school teacher makes a good point that if we only teach towards academics like math and science, we are only teaching children to prepare for a test, which in result lacks in teaching based on life experiences. Also, unlike other subjects such as math, that leads one person to find one specific answer to a problem, art allows to find more solutions to the problems, and it allows children to think freely without being considered wrong. This may not matter to us now, but the future of our children and the next generation that will run the United States will be affected if these programs are not reinstated in our schools. As I have established the need for these programs, I will now offer a possible solution to this problem. When schools decide to make budget cuts to the educational system, this means that they avoid cutting any programs that have to do with reading or math. If school districts were to take a deeper look at the budget allotted for them, they might find a better way to keep the small selection of art classes in the schools. It would be wiser not to cut whole programs, but instead to readdress programs that have larger budgets. In an interview conducted by CNN of a second grade teacher, Christy Prager, she states that the student's interest in reading, writing, and math increase when she employs creative methods. If we know that creative classes make a child more well-rounded, we need to address why these programs are being targeted. It would make more sense for schools to make a more even budget across the board in order to keep the arts. As a student of art and as someone who has been impacted by art, I know firsthand the positive experiences art can have on the life of a child. Some people may think that art does not matter, that we should be focusing on the core subjects of reading and math. However, when school budgets have been examined, one realization that we need to make is that sports programs are continuing to increase, which is alarming when creative stimulating programs are being cut. Also, according to the U.S. Department of Education, President Obama has enforced the No Child Left Behind Act, which is a program focusing on equal education opportunities, as well as dropout prevention and English as a second language, using grants and large amounts of funding to enforce these policies. If we were to spend half as much time and money on art programs, children everywhere would be able to be exposed to more creative and educational outlets. In order to make this more relevant to us right now, we will need to do some visualization. Imagine that you're in the second grade and you've just finished your math class and you're tired from learning your multiplication tables. You don't have recess or lunch for a few hours and your reading class is next. You cannot focus on reading because you're tired from all your academic work. Now, imagine that you've just finished that math class and you're exhausted. However, you have art class, and though you might not be the greatest artist, it gives you a break from your more academic classes. You're still learning new concepts, but you're having fun, and you don't really realize that this is actually a learning environment. Even though art class is fun, we need to realize what a positive break this can give to children while also developing a different skill set that is not offered by your core classes. I propose that we take a deeper look at the programs that are continuing to take most of the budget and find a better way to distribute the budget while including art in the curriculum. As we have learned today, schools everywhere are cutting back on their budgets and art programs are being cut entirely. In order for these programs to be reinstated, we need to make changes. Even though you might not care now, it only takes about 5 minutes of your time to write a letter to your representative to have these budgets reconsidered. Just remember back to those times when you were younger and look forward to that creative break from your academic classroom environment. If children are not being exposed to these programs, they are being cheated out of a well-rounded academic experience.